It's Mushi time. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Mushi time. It's going to be Orange Esports versus Zephyx for the GEST Dota 2 GMPGL Qualifier. Malaysia Qualifier, I should say. Only one team from Malaysia will move forward into the main event. Of course, Orange are going to have the inside track for that, but Winter's team is competing in this event, as well as Invasion Red, QMX, and a few other sort of more well-known Malaysian teams. It's a pretty tight heat, I gotta say. Out of all the, I'd say Malaysia up there with Singapore, these two are going to have really the toughest competition to securing a berth. And, well, we'll see if Orange can continue their journey towards that berth here, as they will face off against Zephyx in a best out of one. I'm LD, I'm joined here by Gods. We are living together, but we are casting from separate rooms just for now. How you doing, Gods?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be living here, to be setting up our studio piece by piece, hopefully soon enough. But yeah, we're here with the GMPGL, the Malaysian qualifier for the GST Dota 2, and Orange Esports, well, the clear favorites in any match Southeast Asian related. They've just wiped the floor with every Southeast Asian opponent thrown at them over the last 3 to 4 weeks in the SEA League, in anything that's come their way in the Gosu Cup as well. So we're going to have to see if any of their Malaysian compatriots can take them down in this competition.
I'm just reading the chat right now. Guys, yeah, in case you haven't heard, we are playing a show match versus the GD Studio best out of 3. Well, it really shouldn't be called a show match. It's more just like a stomp fest, because we wiped the floor with those scrubs. Disgusting traitor Bruno, well, just a hippie who needs a haircut, James, and a couple of guys who I don't really know what they do at the GD Studio. Except lose Dota games, because that's what they'll be doing tomorrow. But yeah, it's going to be a best out of 3. It will be an absolute blast. Winter may not be playing because, well, we want to give them a shot, at least a tiny one. But it should be fun. Either way, that's neither here nor there for tonight. But just keep it in the back of your mind. We're coming for you, James, and you're not going to like it.
We may as well just play 4v5, I figure. I mean, Draskell's like practically homeless. He doesn't really add much to the team.
Here's the secret to beating the GD Studio. Kill Draskell once.
Yeah, and he'll rage. I've seen that. I mean, I just...
It's funny, because, see, I rage too, so I know what it's like. You kill me once, I'm on tilt. I mean, unless I'm already doing really well. But it's just
I mean, we may as well just put, like, P-Flax on carry or something, I feel. And
5
just,
seconds remaining.
Yeah, we could just...
I don't think they can deal with that.
Cyborg Matt, just throw him on his Earthshaker. He can get that early. Max Enchant Totem, Shadow Blade, Daedalus. Easy win. P-Flax can just get his Bloodseeker rolling. Should be fun. Well, Orange is not messing around. So I actually haven't seen them play with the full roster with Mushi and Ohio on the team. I'm pretty excited to see these two. And Mushi in what really is his best role, which is that one position, and playing true one position heroes at that.
Yeah, he used to play like a fake one position where he'd solo mid, but essentially he'd be the one, because they'd always pick Yamato would always be on either a Chaos Knight or a Naga Siren, some hero that didn't need that much farm, and his Queen of Pain would just get 6-slotted and sometimes win them the game, but he was not that reliable. Playing the hard carry role definitely suits him a lot more. He's showing quite a versatile hero mix. He's played Luna, he's played Anti-Mage, he's played Shadow Fiend. There's no real, like, this is what Mushi's going to be playing, which in the past it was like, okay, Mushi's going to play Queen of Pain.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot more difficult to draft. And I will say, Ohio does seem to have a more diverse hero pool, at least heroes that he's played in big competitive matches. We've seen him on Tinker, we've seen him on Shadow Fiend. Of course, we've seen him on Queen of Pain, Templar Assassin. And quite a few others that aren't coming to mind right now, I'm pretty sure. So Ohio just a little more diverse in terms of the heroes that he often plays that really fit that mid role. Because if you're playing a one position mid, there aren't that many heroes that can really do it in a pinch. Whereas Ohio is quite comfortable playing that true 2. So I think it's a more natural role distribution. But, I mean, the real story for Orange has been Net and Extinct. These two are, honestly, I would say, for me, the most terrifying support tandem outside of China.
Yeah, this is a really strong support team. Net, to me, is basically one of the best support players in the world. And it's sad to see Ice leave Orange, but Net is the best support player outside of China in a lot of ways. And it's great to see him join this team. It definitely strengthens them. Yamato had sort of his on days and his off days. So all in all, I think this Orange Esports team, if it works, it in theory is a lot better than their old team. You've got Mushi on a role that suits him a lot better. You've got a solo mid player who's probably somewhat on par with Mushi, just a sort of different approach, a different style, and then you've got an even stronger support player in there. It's a fantastic team, and KYXY has actually been really adapting to. That was the one sort of the one role you question is, can KYXY play that offlane hero? He's generally known for his solo mid or playing carry, but he's played the offlane really well so far.
Yeah, he's really grown a lot as an offlane player. When he started playing that role for Orange, well, he didn't really start playing it as a full-time job. You know, he'd often be standing in. When Ice 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 wasn't always playing with the team, they had sort of like roster instability, I guess you could say. Mushi was not showing up to some matches, and there was all sorts of shenanigans going on with the team. KYXY wasn't comfortable in that role, but he's definitely grown into it a lot. And when you get Dark, I'd say Darkseer is by far his most comfortable hero. So giving that away to him, well, it's risky to say the least. Now, of course, Darkseer can go mid against TA in terms of matchups, but with Orange, we do expect that to be something that KYXY will take either to the offlane or the jungle, depending on the rest of these picks.
Yeah, I think that the one thing they have done a couple of times, if they want to send Darkseer mid against TA, they can send Mag to use that mid pull. They can cut down the trees at level 1 using the skewer, and that's something Orange have done a lot. They did it a lot in the Gosu Cup against Myth Trust. Both games they were on the Radiant side. They basically cut down the trees in their own jungle so that they can use the mid pull. They did it once with Mag, once with Beastmaster, and I think once with even Windrunner in the semi-finals. So they often ditch the offlane, and that's something you can do, especially on the Radiant side when you can use that mid pull. And Darkseer does a lot better mid against a TA than a Mag does.
Yeah, I got to agree there.
10 seconds remaining.
I just don't see how... Well, Zephyx, they've gone for really what looks to be two of their supports. We haven't seen a Tide as a solo in a long time, and one of the main issues with Tide as that solo offlane is he's too easy to kill. He doesn't have an escape mechanism. Even Mag with his, well, short-range skewer, he's got something to help him get away. Of course, Darkseer's Surge. Most strong offlaners have an escape mechanism. That's something Tide lacks, and it's why we see him more either go mid or play a support role, but we're not going to see a mid-Tide as TA has already been selected. They actually banned Alchemist, which we all know Mushi likes his gold, but that is not a ban I would expect to see. I think Mushi, well, even the Void's banned, so maybe looking at that Anti-Mage if they go for sort of a standard hero for him.
I think Anti-Mage or SF, maybe more likely leaning towards the SF here, especially in some of these early... Yeah, especially some of these earlier rounds. I mean, a lot often they're expecting a somewhat comfortable game. Maybe they just want to just use a hero that they're more comfortable with, they enjoy more, just so they can get into a bit of a tempo here. And for Mushi, I think Shadow Fiend's probably one of his preferred heroes, at least as far as general enjoyment goes. He plays it really well, and with the Mag ultimate, with the Darkseer Vacuum, that'll do a ton of damage. And it's also great against Spectre. I think Shadow Fiend with the minus armor and just lockdown. Oh, they get Lone Druid for now, so...
Interesting choice. I wonder, are we going to see maybe Ohio? Yeah, I'm not... You know, I guess is it a Mushi Lone Druid?
There was one game in the Gosu Cup which was bizarre. Mushi played a safe lane farming Mag, and they had KYXY. It was on an offlane Lone Druid. Oh no, offlane Weaver, sorry. He was offlane Weaver, and Mushi was playing Mag in the safe lane. He didn't really go carry.
Was this with Ohio playing?
Yeah. Ohio was playing mid, and they had Weaver offlane, and then Mushi was playing a safe lane Mag as a farmer. He went standard items, like he went Arcane Boots into Blink Dagger and Refresher, but he played a safe lane Mag. I'm not sure if they'd do that ever again. It was really weird. Like, they won the game because they weren't versing a very tough opponent, but it was just something completely out of the ordinary.
Yeah, so the final choice from Zephyx is Weaver, and right now I'm looking at a team that has one reliable non-ultimate stun. In fact, one non-ultimate stun, period, and that's Telekinesis, which doesn't even do damage. So they're going to have a very hard time keeping Darkseer out of the lane. They're going to have a very hard time killing heroes quickly before they can retreat to their towers. And this is a draft for Zephyx that just has to do well in the laning stage, because come mid-game, how do you 5-man against the Darkseer with an early mecha Mag with a pretty fast blink? All of these items very likely to come out. Sure, TA can win that matchup 1v1 versus Mag mid, but she can't stop him from farming as long as he's bottle crowing, which I'm sure he will be. I don't really see any of these lanes being shut down for Orange, and if you don't shut them down, well, how do you really win this in the mid game? Sure, if you go really late, you've got it there with Spectre TA, but I just don't see them being able to deal with the 5-man that Orange is going to have come like that 20-25 minute mark.
Yeah, and if Orange really want, they can even look to pressure the Spectre lane. They can send some sort of maybe something like an LGD style tri lane with a Shadow Demon Darkseer and one more up against the Spectre and just prevent him from farming. But more likely they just go for a strong lineup of their own. Come sort of the 15-20 minute mark, they can group up, start pushing down some towers. They pick up a Pugna last, so they really want to have some strong pushing potential here. We'll have to see. Is Pugna generally played as a solo mid to get the fast levels and just go around pushing with something like a mech? But
it looks like a tri-lane Darkseer right now.
Yeah, or they send just someone into the jungle. Extinct actually playing Pugna, so it's going to be a 4-position Pugna.
Oh, roaming Pugna Shadow Demon. Now we've really seen it all.
Yeah, this is interesting. Orange actually on the dire side. I don't know what I was talking about. I was saying they're going to use a Radiant Pool, but they're actually playing on the dire side.
Apparently I didn't even. Apparently I completely missed it, so I'm not sure which is worse. But we'll just pretend that never happened. And
I still get confused. Like I always second guess myself. I'm like, okay, they're on the top, which means dire, which means Radiant for some reason.
Pugna. Gosh, I haven't seen this hero in forever. He combos Decrepify plus Soul Catcher is just devastating burst damage. Anybody will melt to that, even at relatively early levels. So even like and they have so much spammable nukage between, well, mainly Shockwave, but that's super spammable, and then of course Nether Blast, as well as Ion Shell. This is a pretty interesting pick, but I guess the big thing is the ward is going to wreak havoc on any sort of attempt to group up and fight by Zephyx in the mid game.
Yeah, the ward will, I mean, especially when they want to start sieging the base as well, it makes it slightly harder to defend. Getting in there. They haven't really got too many intel-heavy heroes who are going to take a lot of damage from it when they use their spells, but more than anything, it's just sort of to be very annoying. You've got the blast capabilities there as well, and if Orange can get a few early towers, Arcane Boots and Mech, you could see those up in around the 15-minute mark on a support hero like Extinct here. And they may actually, it looks like they're actually going offensive trialing with Mushi on the mag, and KYXY, he does play the lone druid on this team, so not surprised to see him playing it over Mushi, but he's going to be in the safe lane for once.
Yeah, you can't Ion Shell the bear anymore, so that off-lane lone druid soloid wouldn't be as effective this game as it could be in other situations. And for Zephyx, they are looking to defend their jungle. Camp has already been warded. Let's see if they can find this and de-ward. I don't think they have the damage to bring down this bear, but they are going to chip away at it a bit. And now Mushi lumbers towards mid, really. Nope, just checking the rune, it looks like. Getting in position to try and secure that. And Zephyx really committed, but they've got to get someone towards the top lane if they want to lane anyone there. And seeing all these heroes bottom, they should expect some sort of offensive tri-lane, or at least dual lane. But nobody heading there yet. Looks like Vayne is going to make his way over now. And has the magic stick.
Lone Druid really needs to be careful with that Spirit Bear, because Rubik can telekinesis it onto a cliff. He has got Tangos actually. He's got Tangos on his bear just in case. And I'm pretty sure that's in case it gets stuck at level 1 by a telekinesis. I've seen it happen before, and it just ruined the Lone Druid's life because his bear got stuck on a cliff, and you can't recall it until you hit level 3.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing it could be for is just to be able to eat your way into some camps to body block them, but that makes a lot more sense. And pretty clever. I mean, in this case, probably not necessary, but he was being rather aggressive with it. Mushi is an invis. Oh, Skewer's balloon back to start off this, and this should be potentially a first blood. There's your disruption, really nicely timed. Here comes the surround. LGD insta, not quite good enough, but will it be? There he goes, down for the count, and an early first blood being claimed by Orange. Mushi with the invis rune. They had an observer, they knew he had it, and they just got caught out of position.
Yeah, and this is something which, giving away an early first blood like this at this bottom lane, Mushi as well gets a kill. That's going to be his fast Basset Ring, I imagine, just to basically keep these heroes juiced up and spamming their spells.
Juiced up.
It's going to get tougher. It's going to just get tougher and tougher at bottom lane with that first blood being given up.
You heard it here first. Mushi uses steroids. He's juicing. He's juicing.
I'd believe it. I don't take much convincing on that.
So on a more serious note, we're looking at a Spectre Tidehunter dual tri-lane. This is probably one of the weakest lanes you can possibly construct in Dota.
Yeah, this is very, very tough for them. They haven't got their pull either, which is something they could look to do, is just pull and just try to deny as much XP as possible, but it's not really happening at the moment. Well,
there's currently a ward blocking that camp, so they're not going to be able to get any spawns there for the moment. And they can't really leave Spectre. The weakness of Spectre, among many in the laning stage, is that he's squishy. If you leave him alone, he's not hard to kill at all early game. In fact, speaking of not hard to kill, he might die now. Nice telekinesis, throwing him back to prevent the skewer. Mushi whips the skewer, still giving chase. Just the auto attacks are going to bring Tide down. So not even really a nice coordination there. There's a great lift by the Rubik to disrupt the skewer combo, but it didn't matter. And that's got to be a concern.
Yeah, this is another kill going the way of Orange very, very fast. Mushi actually sitting on 800 gold here, so we could see some ridiculously fast arcane boots coming to this trial, and at that point it's essentially lost. I mean, it's a lost cause. It's already lost this bottom lane, but they can still salvage it here and there by just getting a bit of XP, a bit of farm, but arcane boots up on the mag with the blast as well as the shockwave being spammed, and this lane goes completely to crap.
There we go. This is just... Oh, Soul Catcher is going to hit the hero. Rubik will go down. And just Tidehunter unable to punish this. Something like an Earthshaker really could potentially, if you can fissure block a hero towards the tower, maybe you can pick up a counter kill, but a hero like Tide, there's nothing he can do. And one thing that we didn't really get to talk about much with Pugna as a pick is he's great at pushing, so if you want to run an offensive pushing tri-lane, he's probably, I mean, up there with a hero like Leshrac in terms of just being able to kill off the creep waves and muscle down the tower early. And up against Spectre, he can't stop pushes. Tidehunter can't stop them early on. So I think a really smart pick when you really look at the laning stage.
Yeah, it does make sense, especially against the Spectre, who you wouldn't be putting a lot of pressure on. And Rubik actually says F this and TP's top. He's done with bottom lane. He's like, you guys can just handle this yourself. Tide Spectre lane. It's now just a dual lane. Rubik's at top. And top's a lane where Weaver is not doing all too well against KYXY. KYXY is completely out farming him.
I've just been keeping an eye on mid recently, and Ohio is having a ball. This is really a matchup that Darkseer can dominate. He can out-rune control the TA. The TA, especially with the new refraction, it's just not very spammable, and you really need those runes to use your refraction charges. He isn't able to get them. Might be able to find a lift here in Ohio, but meanwhile, bottom lane, it looks like another dive. Tidehunter is the only hero left to support the Spectre. I mean, this is the thing about Spectre. You can't leave him alone like this, but what other choice do they have? It feels like this game may have already basically just been decided by the draft.
Yeah, at this point, Tidehunter's just dying to help Spectre get 2 or 3 creep kills every time. It's like, okay, I used a bunch of spells on Tide, that means Spectre can get maybe 2 creeps, and well, now Spectre's actually going to initiate it on. They lead with Mushi, lead with the Disruption. Mushi's there with the Shockwave, and it's another kill going their way. Arcane Boots have been up on Mushi now, and this lane is all but lost. Spectre just needs, you can't really go back bottom anymore.
You can't go mid, Darkseer will kill you. You can't go top, Lone Druid will own you in the lane. You can't farm bottom, you can't jungle. Nowhere to go for Spectre. And this guy, or this gal, whatever she is, needs a lot of items. It started with the Quelly Blade as well, which, I mean, it's frankly kind of a baffling choice when you look at this lineup. Another kill bottom, Rubik will drop. And just waiting for the skewer. He might even get 2. He's just going to skewer the Tide away instead. Has a shockwave, not quite enough damage. Weaver joins the fight. Can he punish Mushi for his insolence? Defensive Decrepify. There's no mana for Gush, so he will get away. Pugna man's up. Extinct wants this kill so damn bad, but he's not going to get it. Vayne will actually explode in a cloud of pew pew pew. Meanwhile, mid lane, Ohio dives aggressively, picks off the TA. The world is burning, and unfortunately it's mostly burning on the Radiant side of the map.
Yeah, they get themselves on the kill board with the kill on Extinct, but Extinct took the Weaver down with him, so everything going the way of Orange here. And Spectre, well, you mentioned he can't really go top, we're seeing it now. He's almost getting solo killed by KY, so he actually walks back in, and that's going to be the end of him. I think he was trying to pass over the terrain to get away, but it wasn't, the Spectral Dagger wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, and of course, you can only run along the trail of the dagger, so he only really had the one path to try and escape. You know, Spectre is a viable pick. I think he's very... Oh, bottom lane looked like there might be action. We're seeing him get absolutely destroyed, but it's not just the Spectre pick. You have to look at the overall composition and just the lane matchups they had. You can't really pick a hero like Tidehunter when you have a Spectre, unless your opponents, you just know they're not going to go aggressive. Because Tidehunter doesn't offer anything in those 3-on-3 Charlies, and neither does Spectre. If they had a dominant support, like say a Keeper of the Light, then maybe they could deal with this. But with the supports they had, Spectre just was never going to work out against this lane.
Yeah, as far as the picks went, they picked TA very early, gave the Dark to counter, and then they also picked up the Tidehunter in the first 3, a very weak laning hero. So it really just set this game up for an Orange offensive tri-lane. The Spectre pick, I mean, just sealed the deal. As soon as Orange see it, they say, okay, offensive tri-lane for sure. They've got a Tidehunter support. They're not going to do anything against us. And we're just 6 minutes in, and I mean, as far as it's great being optimistic about what the Radiant team can do, but at this point, there's nothing they can do. It really seems like it's just a matter of time for Orange to just tear them apart.
Especially, I mean, look at how aggressive Ohio can play. He could just post up knowing that they don't have enough stuns to actually kill him. They can lift him, but they can't burst him down during that lift. And after that, he just surges away. Whereas on the other side of the map, Orange has all the disables in the world between Disruption, I don't want to see his cosmetics. That's also a very depressing set of cosmetics, I might add. Meanwhile, they're going on mid. Look at he's manning up against 4 heroes. He may actually die. Oh, he will. And that is actually a pretty nice kill because he's gotten a lot of experience. Jazz has to fight his way out of here. The Iron Show will land. He'll be able to get a couple of CS. Net's gonna punish him. He just wants a few creeps, man. But it's not gonna happen. Net is just always in the right spot at the right time when you look at Orange. In the recent games, his positioning and movement have really been pristine and more kills top. Weaver gets soloed. I assume got entangled and just wasn't able to, after a time lapse perhaps. And down he goes. No, doesn't even have time lapse. Only level 5. You know,
really
he
struggling.
bottom earlier, so that's why he's just a bit under-leveled.
Yeah, when he even TP'd bottom, didn't make anything of it. He goes down, and Orange, well, Tier 2 bottom tower looks to be falling in their favor here. There is going to be a TP in from the Tide Hunter, but Mushi's level 6 if they want to use a Tide Revenant. Tide Hunter, he's just level 4.
Look at Ned. He's backstabbing the enemy Tier 2 bottom at 8 minutes into the game. This guy.
They've seen him? No, they haven't seen him.
Tower's gonna fall. Mushi catches 3 with an RP. The nukes follow up. Look at the blast. Everything's being zapped. Extinct gets 2. Pops a couple of kills. The vacuum finishes off another. Spectre's gonna melt. And this is just a complete meltdown. Zephyx getting hammered and brutally beaten down in all directions. And KYXY is just playing PvE Dota on the top side of the map. Farming the creeps happily. TA will drop next. And I mean, this is legitimately could be a 12-minute game if they fight to the bitter end.
Yeah, that was absolutely nasty, that team fight. Mushi, I mean, he hits the RP he was looking for, and when you've got a Pugna with the maxed out blast, maxed out shockwave, these heroes on the Radiant side who aren't even level 6 yet are going to drop instantly if that RP lands. They do not stand a chance, and Orange making full use of that. Like you say, they've got KYXY not even coming to the fight. He's actually picked up a Drum of Endurance, and at this point it's like, let's just get all the auras we can get to end this game as fast as possible. It's going to help them go high ground, help them get some racks as early as possible. Probably see something like a Vlad's being picked up next even, just for some additional auras, some additional pushing power for the armor, as well as the bonus damage, and well, he's actually going to go on the Rubik here, and it looks like he's going to get a kill out of this.
I'm going to try out my smooth drag here. Doesn't even need an entangle. Just auto attacks him down, chasing. And an entangle here on Vayne would spell his doom. If any hero gets RP'd or entangled, he's dead. If any hero gets disrupted and then soul captured, they're pretty much dead. But it's just, aside from the Weaver, who can maybe Sakuchi away from that combo, but I mean, who even cares? They can just muscle down the towers. The mechanism's coming. They already have the blink. Mushi blinks in, whips the skewer because of that disruption. A little bit of miscommunication there. Orange not really timing their spells properly, but doesn't matter in the end. They still get it, and it's too easy. They're gonna get, this is the last outer tower at 10 minutes in, 6 towers down, and they're not even breaking a sweat.
Yeah, it looks like they may want to go high ground here. They got them, no mech up yet. Extinct decides to go for a couple of braces here, so cheap, cost-effective items. Mech is actually on the Darkseer Ohio, and well, it looks like they're going to make it go on this. Vacuum, Templar Assassin gets entangled, and they're going to take down Templar Assassin, and slowly, bit by bit, they're going to deal with this Tier 3 tower. Of
course there's no Ravage, because it was a defensive trialing Tide who got nothing. RP on 2, skewers them away. Now the Shockwave. Look at that Shockwave. It just takes away like half of their health instantly. Brutal, absolutely brutal, and with this additional set of kills, well, can they actually breach high ground? The one thing, as you know, I mentioned this last game, it's even more relevant now. Zephyx respawned very quickly, but Weaver gets caught and just can't even Sakuchi away. It had time lapse, but I might have even just died to the full, from full HP to the nukes there after the time lapse. Either way, it doesn't matter. Rex will fall. Orange are wasting no time in ending this game. They've got a hot date, and she will not wait.
No, she won't. And Spectre, unfortunately, well, once again gets taken out as Zephyx. This is the end of the road for them, and it's a very, very quick end. Very brutal display of dominance coming out of Orange. And this is what, I mean, this is what you've come to expect from this team. They've just got such a stacked roster. It's always been the case where Orange have just had this stacked roster, but now more than ever, it's got a nice balance to it as well.
And they seem a little bit more serious than some, well, we watched Orange in the past with other iterations. It didn't always feel like they were 100% focused, but I gotta say, this team, we've seen some miscoordination. We saw that disruption messing up the skewer earlier, but the overall game plan, they're not messing around. They're just getting items to end the game, push their advantage as quickly as possible. They picked an unorthodox hero in the puzzle, but it made sense in really the context of this game. And Spectre, I still think, is a perfectly valid pick, but you gotta pick him with the right supporting cast and against the right lanes and matchups. They just didn't have the lanes from Spectre.
Yeah, they had 3 farm-dependent agility heroes, basically. The TA, Weaver, as well as Spectre, and then combine that with a level-dependent weak support hero in Titan. It was just a very weak and punishable lineup, and that's exactly what Orange did. They had Mushi playing a different role to his normal hard carry, and it really was the right decision to make with these lanes.
It's a team that's showing a lot of versatility. I mean, they've got multiple heroes who can play multiple roles. Of course, Ohio, it almost reminds you of Liquid. It's sort of like the Liquid of Southeast Asia in a sense, just in terms of how flexible they can be with their top 3 positions. Here comes the big team fight, but the mech is keeping everyone alive. 1 blast brings Weaver down to half HP. RP catches 3. Actually, I think it was 4. Skewer back. Everybody melts. They want another. It'll be Rubik down for the count in a moment or two. Morphing back into range form just to tranquil up as the kill happens. Talk about efficiency. And, I mean,
yeah,
I said 12 minutes they could literally end the game, and it might be 14. So, gotta work on my timings for that. But
you were close. Last game I was wrong. It took 21 minutes to get all 6 out of towers. I said 20, it was 21. They did get a tier 3 tower before 20 minutes though, but it took their time to get the tier 2 top. This game, well, you're a couple minutes off. We're getting there, LD. We're slowly getting back into it.
The day of beatdowns continues. Jesus. This is like watching a 6-year-old box against Mike Tyson. Oh, jeez. I mean, it's bloody, it's painful, and you're not going to like the end result. But, I mean, honestly, for Zephyx, they can learn a decent amount from this game just in terms of the draft, I feel. That's really... when you look at this game, I mean, you can't look at anything else except other than the way they selected their heroes. That pretty much
unlike that 6-year-old girl, there is something for Zephyx to learn here, LD. I don't think there's any lesson in that for her to learn.
Yeah. Don't get punched by Mike Tyson.
Bottom barracks are under attack.
Oh man, how did we get on that topic? Jesus. I didn't do it, I swear. Gods is in fact just disconnected from the game. Even though GGs have not been called yet. Maybe his computer actually crashed, I'm not sure. Maybe he just wants to get a snack. But Weaver's gonna be doing a little bit of chasing. They're fighting to the bitter end. Give Zephyx credit for that. But the end should be coming. Mushi whips another skewer. I gotta say, I'm still not 100% convinced about his mag. Just doesn't seem as strong as some of his other heroes. But that all being said, it's certainly doing the job in this particular feeding frenzy as Orange just starts the fountain camp. Now they're gonna mess around a little bit. Mushi is not messing around, however. He just wants to kill up this Rag. And he's hitting it while the team is diving. Stop fighting! Stop fighting, he says, but they won't stop. So he jumps in, he catches everybody with an RP, and everybody will die. Aside from Tide, who's chilling in base, and nothing but a sad face left for Balloon. The GGs fly out. 3 lanes of racks in 15 minutes, and it could have probably been 13 to 14 if Orange had just been a little bit more disciplined. Cruel and unusual punishment is the order of the day. There are going to be tougher opponents coming up, though. There are still a lot of strong teams in this event. We're just in the early stages of the tournament. Only in round 2 of, I believe, 6 rounds total. 1 team will advance into the GST Dota 2 main event from Malaysia. This is the Malaysian qualifier, so we have some good games coming up. Specifically, Invasion is still in this tournament. QMX, who a lot of you probably saw in the SEA League, is playing in this qualifier as well. Winter's new team, ABC, along with, I believe it's TFG, Ling, and 2 Han players, is also one of the contenders. So definitely some more even-footed games to come. But for now, it's just a bloodbath. And here's a blink in. Skewer on 3. Not enough follow-up, though. There's a vacuum as well. Everybody melting. 3 heroes dead. Ultra for KYXY. And he's doing it in style with the power tread spirit there. As my mouse is somehow not staying constrained within my window. No, what is going on with my computer? Rampage for KYXY. Ram freaking Page. He's not a ram, though. He's a bear. And he's angry. And this game is over, folks. Orange, book it. Heading to round 3. It was Mike Tyson punching a little kid, but that little kid will grow up someday and may turn around to deliver retaliation. We'll see if he can do it, but for now, this match is over. Zephyx is going home. Orange moves on. We will have, I believe, at least one more round coming up. I'm not sure how many more rounds get played today. 1 or 2, perhaps, for the GMPGL Malaysian qualifiers for the GEST Dota 2 main event. I'm LD. I was joined here by Gods until he decided to go get drunk. But stay tuned. Drunk Gods is coming back. BTS, Beyond the Summit, is coming back with more Southeast Asian Dota in just a few moments.